Pulse modulation is the topic of this lecture. After discussing analog modulation methods, amplitude modulation and angle modulation, and further angle modulation includes frequency and phase modulation methods. The next one is pulse modulation technique that actually is somewhere between analog modulation and digital modulation techniques. The signals will be in the form of pulses, and the carrier is modulated in all the modulation methods. So in this method of modulation, carrier will be in the form of pulses, and that pulsed carrier will be modulated by the instantaneous value of modulating signal. We know that any modulation method is defined as the technique in which the carrier attribute or one of the attribute of carrier changes according to instantaneous value of message signal. So therefore, in pulse modulation, the carrier, which is a pulsed signal, will vary in accordance with instantaneous value of modulating signal. This is a general definition of pulse modulation, where the signal is transmitted in the form of pulses and generally used to transmit analog signal. If you can see the picture, there is a modulating signal, message signal, right? This is how the instantaneous value is changing. There is a carrier in red color, but carrier signal is pulsed signal. The signal is in the form of pulses. Now, if you see the third part of the picture, which writes PAM signal, PAM stands for pulse amplitude modulated signal, PAM, pulse amplitude modulation. This is one of the pulse modulation techniques. In PAM, since it is written here, we must explain here only. PAM is the signal where the amplitude of pulse, what pulse? Carrier pulses. The amplitude of carrier pulses will vary according to instantaneous value of modulating signal. Look at here. The modulating signal amplitude is increasing. So if you see, the carrier amplitude is increasing here. When the modulating signal amplitude is decreasing here, that is instantaneous value is decreasing here, and therefore you look at the pulse, the pulses, especially the amplitude of the pulses is decreasing. Again, the instantaneous value of modulating signal starts increasing. So you can see here the amplitude of pulses is also increasing. So what is important here in pulse modulation? The message signal is an analog signal which remains as the same signal which we used in amplitude and frequency modulation methods. But the carrier is no longer the normal signal. It's of course high frequency signal, but the signal is present, signal is converted in the form of pulses, train of pulses. There is a sequence of pulses, series of pulses, and these pulses will have frequency, will have time duration, will have width, will have amplitude. So if the amplitude of these pulses varies in accordance with the instantaneous value of modulating signal, the method of pulse modulation will be called as pulse amplitude modulation. So the continuous signals are sampled. You can see this is a sampled output. The continuous signals are sampled at regular intervals. See, the carrier signal has a sampling time. It's a time period. So the time period is the PAM in a PAM is not changing. So every after certain interval, periodic interval, there are pulses. So there are samples. There are continuous pulses at regular intervals. So this is the general definition of pulse modulation, where one of the attributes of pulses. Pulses of what? Carrier signal. Carrier here is a pulsed signal. So one of the attributes of the pulsed carrier changes in accordance with instantaneous value of message signal, then the method of modulation is called as pulse modulation. If amplitude of pulses changes, pulse amplitude modulation. If the position of pulse, see there is move, there is delay in pulses, there is shift in the pulses, then pulse position modulation. If the width of the pulses changes, pulse width modulation. There are different methods of pulse modulation depending on which attribute of carrier signal, a pulsed carrier signal is changing. So after definition, this is what we have studied in previous lectures, a general classification, a general category of the different modulation schemes. If we divide all modulations is divided into two major categories. One, continuous wave modulation method. Second is pulse modulation. Continuous wave, amplitude and angle modulation we have studied in previous lectures. And further, angle modulation is divided into frequency and phase modulation scheme method. This part we have discussed. The next part, pulse modulation, again is of two types, and analog pulse modulation and digital pulse modulation. Analog is further divided into PAM, PWM and PPM. PAM is pulse amplitude modulation. PWM is pulse width modulation, and PPM is pulse position modulation. These are all analog pulse modulation methods, whereas the digital modulation is a very popularly used called PCM, pulse code modulation method. Then it has its variant, DPCM, delta modulation, adaptive delta modulation. There are variants of pulse code modulation, PCM, differential pulse code modulation, DPCM, delta modulation, then adaptive delta modulation. There are variants of the digital pulse modulation method. So in this lecture, we will not discuss any particular method in detail. We'll just summarize, we'll just discuss all the pulse modulation methods briefly. So let's begin with PAM, called as pulse amplitude modulation. In this modulation scheme, each sample is proportional to the amplitude of the signal at the instant of sampling. At the instant of sampling means all the pulses which are sampled there, those amplitudes will vary. The PAM signal follows the amplitude of original signal as the message signal. So if you see the curve, if you see the envelope of modulated signal, the envelope will nothing but will be following message signal only. Because in any modulation scheme, we know that the change is proportional to amplitude of modulating signal. The signal is sampled at Nyquist rate, and therefore it can be reconstructed by passing it through a suitable low pass filter. Nyquist, see, when we are converting signal into the form of pulses, so there comes a role of sampling. Sampling converts an analog signal into a signal called as discrete signal, which is actually in the form of pulses. And those pulses will be converted by the sampling, and that requires a Nyquist rate to be observed. Nyquist rate suggests that the sampling frequency must be greater than twice of maximum message signal frequency, or maximum signal frequency to whichever signal is being sampled. The signal is sampled at Nyquist rate. So there are two types of PAM, single polarity, double polarity. This is based on the polarity of pulses. In single polarity, a fixed DC level is added to the signal so that the signal is always positive. Whether the pulses are positive or negative, a fixed DC bias will be given so that all pulses will be elevated to either positive or negative side. So they will all have one polarity, whereas in double polarity, the pulses will be both positive as well as negative. This is what is the output. You see here, the output is, this is a message signal, this is sampling signal, or we can say a carrier signal, which is in the form of samples, pulses, and this is the PAM signal. When we discuss PAM signal into detail, it's not mentioned here. When we discuss PAM signal in detail, we'll find that PAM is also of two types: flat top and natural top sampling. Natural top PAM output, flat top PAM output. So this is natural. You see here, the pulses are just following. The pulse amplitudes are just following what the instantaneous value of modulating signal. So if I can use a pen, right, you can look at here, this is actually, you look at here, what is this? This red color signal is actually your modulating signal. So it's just following, the amplitude follows the natural instantaneous value of the modulating signal. And therefore, the output is called as natural top. The top of the pulses, natural top. In flat top, all tops will be flat. All tops will have constant amplitude level. It will not vary at the top. So this is natural. So we'll discuss natural and flat top sampling or PAM output or when we discuss PAM in detail in a separate lecture on PAM signal. All right, so let me choose a pointer again. All right. So in the PAM, since we are introducing all the modulation methods individually, so about PAM, modulation and demodulation are not complex. They are simple. Simple construction of transmitter and receiver circuits. They are not difficult. Large bandwidth is required for transmission, but more noise. Large bandwidth is required, but noise is a problem, especially when we discuss about flat top and a natural top. There are difficulties related to noise, that is clipping of signal. We will discuss separately in the PAM as a separate topic. Due to varying amplitude, in the PAM you can see the amplitude is varying. See, all the pulses are there, and the amplitude of pulses is varying. Because of varying nature of amplitude, the power required, see, when is more power required? When the swing is more. You can see that lower to higher, then higher, then higher, then again lower, higher. So whenever there are swings involved, the power dissipation always increases. So the power required will be more. Mainly used in Ethernet communication, right? In Ethernet communication, where we transmit the signal in the form of pulses in the optical pulses, especially in optical communication system. The microcontrollers use this technique in order to generate control signals. In microcontroller and microcontroller based operations, we need the signals in the form of pulses, and that too when the input is changing, the input amplitude is changing, those pulses which are being sent to different blocks or different operations, that amplitude must vary. When I'm changing the knob, or when I'm changing the amplitude of input signal, the pulses which are sent to different blocks or different stages must accordingly follow that amplitude. And this exactly happens in PAM, and therefore in microcontrolled operations or microcontroller based operations, this PAM signal is very useful. Next is PTM. PTM, pulse time modulation. If you see PAM, time is not changing. What is changing is amplitude. What is changing is amplitude. Time is not changing. But in pulse time modulation called as PTM, time changes, time varies. The pulses have same amplitude, but the timing will vary. One of the timing characteristic is made proportional to the amplitude of sampled signal. The variable characteristic can be either frequency, position, or width. Means when time changes, means the pulse position can change, the position of pulse can change, the width of pulses can change. Some pulses may have narrow width, other pulses may have wider width, broader width. Similarly, the repetition will change. Definitely when the pulse width is changing, pulse timing is changing, so repetition is changing. So pulse frequency is also affected. So pulse frequency, pulse position, pulse width are all the methods which are under PTM. The variable characteristic therefore includes frequency, position, or width. In pulse width modulation, PWM is also known as PDM, pulse duration modulation. The width of the pulse means duration of the pulse, right? Duration. So duration of the width changes, and the change will be in proportional with amplitude of modulating signal. If the message signal amplitude changes, the pulse width will change. If the message signal amplitude increases, the pulse width will increase, and if the instantaneous value of modulating signal decreases, the pulse width will also decrease. Due to changing width, the power loss can be reduced when compared to PAM signal, because power is mostly, it depends mostly on the amplitude level, and the amplitude level is varying in nature in PAM. So power required is more as compared to PTM. In PTM, power is not very high, it's lesser than that of PAM signal. This is what we have seen as the PAM output, right? And then this is the, no, we are discussing about PTM, right? So we will include, yeah, when we discuss PPM, PWM separately, we will discuss their waveforms as well, no problem. So low power consumption is the property. Noise interference is less, high power handling capacity because power loss is less here. The circuit is little complex because see, in pulse amplitude modulation, only you have to change the amplitude. Here, either width will change, somewhere width will be less, somewhere width will be small. So the arrangement to generate the samples, and that too in variable time or frequency, is, that demands for some complexity. Voltage spikes can be seen somewhere. Switching losses will be more due to high PWM frequency, because when switching means when frequency is altering, the switching losses may occur. Used in encoding purposes in telecommunication system, used to control brightness in a smart lighting system, used in audio and video amplifiers. These are the applications. Audio and video amplifier can be controlled by using a pulsed input, and the pulsed input may have varying time, varying amplitude, varying width, or varying position. So let's discuss all these modulations individually briefly. ppm, both the amplitude and width will remain constant. Amplitude will not change, width will also not change. A single pulse is transmitted when the required number of phase shifts, phase delays, because the position is changing. The position of pulses, it varies with the respect or with respect to instantaneous value of message signal. It requires constant transmitter power output, but it requires transmitter receiver synchronization. In ppm, there is one more requirement called as synchronization. Why? The pulse position is changing. So when we receive the signals, if we are not able to receive it precisely at that interval, because in PAM we do not need to worry. We are not disturbing, we are not manipulating the timing or the duration or position. Here it is changing. So it's very important to maintain, to provide synchronization between transmitter and receiver, which is a requirement in ppm. This is what you can see, the output. This is analog signal. This is, you can say, pulsed carrier signal. And if you look at here, that if the amplitude is increasing or decreasing, the position of pulse is changing. Somewhere here you see that it is moved more. Here you see that again it has moved, but see this one, the movement is less, the shift is less. Here it's further less, and here again the move, the delay is, the position, the movement of position has increased. So you can say we are not changing width of pulse, we are not changing amplitude of pulse, but the pulse position is changing. As the instantaneous value increases, the pulse shifts away from its normal position. Pulse moves away far from the normal position. When the amplitude decreases, the movement will be there, but it will be less. Whatever was the original position, slightly it will get narrowed. Further decrease in modulating signal amplitude, again it gets narrowed. It means the pulse position, it either moves away or it comes near. This is how the pulse position changes, and pulse position varies, therefore called as pulse position modulation, ppm. It has constant amplitude, so noise interference is not a major concern in ppm, because see, whenever there is amplitude variations, amplitude changes, the noise interference possibility becomes more. So it's less here. We can easily separate signals from a noisy signal, even if there is some amount of noise, since all amplitude levels are same. So separation is not a difficult task in PAM. The highest power efficiency, and it requires less power when compared to pulse amplitude modulation. Power loss is less. The system is complex, requires more bandwidth because expansion, narrowing, so more bandwidth would be required. Used in the air traffic control, ATC, telecommunication systems, remote control cars, planes, trains. You can see that there is a wide range of applications. Wide range of applications where the ppm is used, ppm is applicable. So this is about ppm. The next one is pcm. It's also a pulse modulation, right? Pulse code modulation. As I told you, that PDM includes either pulse position, pulse duration, pulse width. So we have discussed in brief, we have discussed about PAM. Next is PCM. All right, PCM, pulse code modulation. Remember, each pulse Of course, each pulse will have or will be modulated, but that modulated signal will be encoded into the form of some number or beat. So there will be encoding of each pulse. Each pulse will be coded, and each coded output will be depending on the modulating signal amplitude. The instantaneous value of signal, therefore it's called as PCM. You can see one example, interesting example, look at here, that there is original signal, the blue color signal is original one. It has been converted into the form of samples, see here, these are the samples, but the signal has been obtained in the form of samples and there has been approximation. There is a process involved. We will discuss separately in a separate lecture called as sampling and quantization. So you can see that this pulsed output is, approximated signal to the original signal, but the signal is not the actual signal, but it is in the form of pulse. But what is important is this pulse, you look at here, this particular amplitude is represented by 1, 0, 0. This width is represented by 0, 1, 0. This one is 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So you can see that all pulses are coding. And how it is coding, you look at here that we followed one mechanism, according to the magnitude, either in the decreasing or increasing level. So you can see that 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, which are binary numbers, and this according to binary numbers there has been coding. We will actually discuss quantization and sampling process separately in the next lecture. So what is important here is the pulses are encoded. The pulses are coded. So all pulses get modulated and coded. Therefore, the method is called as PCM, Pulse Code Modulation Method. This is an interesting block diagram of pulse code modulation, right? So let's come here. All right, if you see what is happening, what are the major stages in PCM? Analog signal is sent to LPF. Why do we always use LPF? So that we allow our own, that original signal, and we choose the desired frequency band only, so that adjacent signals are not allowed, to pass to get transmitted. That is passed to sampler. You look at here, I already told you, in PCM there are 3 blocks included. If we discuss PCM separately, there are 3 blocks. 1, sampling. 2, quantization. 3, encoding. So it is passed through sampler, then passes through quantizer, and then encoded. What do we get? We get the signal in the form of codes 001, 010, 100 in the form of pulses. And those pulses, if you look at, are transmitted through the channel, and we are using a number of regenerative repeaters, because when the signals are transmitted in the form of pulses, the signal strength has to be boosted up, and therefore we use a number of regenerative repeaters, via or at different points of channel, at different points of medium. When we receive at the receiver block, if you look at, decoder is used because encoder was used. So we decode it. The reconstruction filter, which will be probably a similar low pass filter that allows the same frequency component to be recovered, and then it is delivered to the destination, right? So what happens, that the signal is in the form of pulses, but those pulses have been assigned different codes, and those signals which are assigned different codes, of course they are pulses, but they are represented by suitable codes, are transmitted and received. PCM is mainly used in long distance communication, used in long distance digital communication system. Higher noise immunity compared to other methods. Noise immunity is high. More bandwidth is required compared to analog signal. bandwidth requirement will be more, right? You have a number of processes, then you choose a range and then you apply sampling, then quantize it, then you encode it. So huge bandwidth requirement is there. Encoding, decoding, quantization makes more complex. Used in satellite transmission system, space communication system, telephony, and CD, that is compact disc, right? You have seen in CD compact disc. When you insert a CD compact disc inside the computer, what happens? It reads the data and it reads the data in digital. Computer understands those data. So those data are actually some numbers which have been stored in different tracks and sectors of compact disc. So the writing, the data which is there has been encoded. What type of encoding scheme, what type of method has been used there? PCM. So PCM has facilitated the encoding of those data into the form of bits or bytes in the compact disc using a method called PCM. The next method is delta modulation, DM. Its another variant is adaptive delta modulation. Adaptive delta modulation we will discuss separately, since in this lecture we are just introducing all these different types of pulse modulation methods. So let's understand what is delta modulation. Sampling rate is very high and step size is made smaller value. And what is the biggest point in delta modulation? That all the signals will be transmitted only in one bit. Only one bit. So how the pulses are checked? The name suggests, as the name suggests, delta. Del or delta is a term used for difference. So what happens? You can see X and TS. What is this X and TS? X and TS is a sampled signal, where n is an integer, TS is a sampling time. So when samples are coming, if I receive the first sample, first pulse, then second and third, what we do, if the second pulse is changing, please understand, there will be difference. So the difference is encoded into a single bit. Say there is no change, there will not be encoding. There is no change, no. So when it means the same bit will be transmitted. If there is any change, that change will generate one bit, and accordingly the bit will be generated. So you look at here, one bit quantizer, and that will be the output, and then this is given as a feedback, and there is a delay element where the previous pulse will be stored. Now this previous pulse will be always compared with next incoming pulse, and whenever there is a change in the pulse, it means there is a difference. So every time there is a difference will be encoded into a single bit. This is why it is called as delta modulation. We further modify it, called as adaptive delta modulation, where step size is made variable, and making step size variable gives us a lot of advantages, which we'll separately discuss in ADM method called as adaptive delta modulation. So let's compare. So this comparison, by comparing, we can summarize the lecture also. In this lecture, we have discussed about pulse modulation scheme. Pulse modulation is a method in which one of the attributes of pulse changes. One of the attributes of pulse changes in accordance with the instantaneous value of modulating signal. Pulse amplitude modulation is a scheme where the amplitude of pulse will vary. Pulse width, then comes pulse time modulation, which is further divided into pulse width and pulse position. In pulse width, the width of pulse will change. In pulse position, position will change. So if you compare in PAM, amplitude changes. In PWM, width changes. In PPM, position varies. Bandwidth depends on width and pulse. Width of the pulse in pulse amplitude modulation. It depends on rise time in pulse width, rise time of the pulse. And in PPM, it depends on rise time, because both are type of pulse time modulation. So what is the rise time? Accordingly, it will be decided. Then instantaneous power varies with amplitude of pulses. So therefore in PAM, variation is more. So therefore, the power loss, the power requirement is always more. In PWM, it varies with amplitude and width of pulses, and in PPM, it remains constant with width of the pulses. System complexity is high in PAM, comparatively low in PTM. Noise interference is high in PAM, comparatively low in PTM. PTM means both PWM and PPM. It is similar to amplitude modulation in pulse amplitude modulation, similar to frequency modulation, PWM, and PPM is similar to phase modulation, because we know that in phase modulation there is a delay. So in PPM, the pulse position is changing, so it's moving. So the either pulse is getting delayed, right? It's either going ahead or lagging or leading, something like that. So there is phase change. So if we compare with analog modulation scheme, we can say pulse amplitude modulation is similar with amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation is similar with frequency modulation, and pulse position modulation is similar with phase modulation. In addition to all these methods, we have also discussed about PCM. We have introduced PCM and delta modulation. PCM is also an important method, which is digital pulse modulation method, in which we encode all the pulses in terms of some numbers, some binary numbers. Some numbers are assigned to the different pulses. There are three major stages which are used in PCM, called as sampler, quantizer, and encoder. Sampler converts signal into the form of pulses, and then some approximation to make it more nearer to the original pulse is done by the process called as, by the device or operator called as quantizer. And the next one is encoder, that assigns unique code, that assigns different codes to the different approximated pulses which are present in the signal. So this lecture is all about pulse modulation, providing overview of all different analog and digital pulse modulation methods. So that's all for this lecture.